Hey everyone, today I went to Comic Comps 2024. What is a comp? A comp is basically a published comic which is generally sent to the creators just for their personal collection. And today, a lot of these creators got together and they decided that they wanted to sell off some of their personal collections, and they decided to do a small event. So we had like Ramon Perez, we had Vita Ayala, we had Jim Zub, we had Chip Zdarsky and Ryan North in on this venue for this event. And I met them and I had a really good time. And of course, I bought some comics from them. So that was really dope. So here's what I got from all of this. So starting with Skull Kickers. So Skull Kickers is again written by Jim Zub. As you can see, he signed it. And this is what Jim told me is that this is the first time this is what got him into like D&D. He's a massive D&D fan, and yeah, this is the first thing that he wrote that got him into that. So curious to check it out. So it's a 10th anniversary special too. So yeah, and then this was a complete surprise. This is Samurai Jack by Jim Zub. I had no clue that there was a Samurai Jack comic. I was a big fan of the Cartoon Network animated show. If you haven't checked that out, please do, because it is really fabulous. But then again, Jim signed it, and Samurai Jack is really amazing. So yeah, that's the demon. So yeah, really cool. This next one I really don't have much idea about, but this is a free trade that Jim threw in for me. He's an amazing guy. So if you ever get a chance to meet him, then please do. This is a thing called Glitter Bomb. I mean, he just said that it's a horror book, and yeah. So yeah, curious to check this out. Decent art and a good story, and yeah, why not? And the next one is Rick and Morty and Dungeons and Dragons, a crossover book. So like I said, Jim Zub is a big fan of Dungeons and Dragons, so he plays D&D. He does like D&D sessions across the world. He recently did one in London. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And I like Rick and Morty the show, so yeah, any crossover between D&D and Rick and Morty, I am totally down for it. And of course, he signed all of it. And then next I met Ryan North. So Ryan North is the current writer on the Fantastic Four book for Marvel. And yeah, but he's done a lot of stuff before. So Ryan basically asked me like, what are you into, and I can recommend you some comics from my collection that you can have. So I mentioned that I'm into Star Trek, I mentioned that I'm into Archies and that kind of stuff. So this is the one shot which he wrote, Star Trek Day of Blood. I think it's part of the Lower Decks animated show. And yeah, so he said that this is just a one shot, so you can give it a shot. And of course he signed it. So yeah, I'm curious to check this out. That's a cool Klingon axe. So really like it. The next thing, this book I don't have much idea on, but then again, Ryan kind of sold me on this. This is Adventure Time. Again, it's more D&D type stuff. I did tell him that I was into sword and sorcery. So yeah, he wanted me to give this a shot, so I will. And yeah, this is signed too. So yeah. And then as I mentioned, I said like I'm a big Archie fan. So I never knew that Ryan North was working on a Jughead book. So yeah, this is so there are like a bunch of issues on Jughead that that he gave me. So really excited to check this out as well. There's Jughead and there's Sabrina. So yeah, could be good stuff. Who knows? And then this is, like I said, he's the current writer on Marvel. So these are some of the single issues of Ryan North's run, of Fantastic Four run, which I owned. So I got him to sign it. So this is one of those noirish issues where Sue Storm is like in a noir detective world. This one is, of course, the Doctor Doom, and Doctor Doom as a dinosaur. So Doom meets his dinosaur counterpart on a dino world. It's so cool, man. So if you haven't read it, try checking this out. Most of these are like one and done stories from Ryan North's run. So so it's a jumping on point, but Ryan also mentioned that it's a jumping off point as well. So so yeah, but it's pretty cool. So check that out. And last from the comps collection is Chip Zdarsky's Public Domain. So this book I got it. So Chip Zdarsky was again going all around town, and he gave this book to my local comic book store, and they gave it to me for free. And then I got it signed by him today. And when I told him how I got the book, he was like, "What a full circle moment, right?" So yeah. So I'm curious to check out Public Domain. A lot of characters are going to Public Domain this year. Tintin is going to public domain, and Popeye is going to public domain. So a lot of characters you'll see like in public domain. So what is public domain? Probably this book will tell you. So yeah. So that's it for the comp stuff. But outside of the comp stuff, I also got like some additional books from Western Comics, which was a comic book store like right down the street to the venue. So yeah, I got some out of print stuff, which is very hard to find. Starting with the Terminator Omnibus. This is printed by Dark Horse, and they did a lot of these soft cover, this white shading omnibuses. They did one for obviously Terminator, then Alien and Predator as well. So the Alien and Predator ones are written by Mark Verheiden. Those are like really good, like really good. So the Predator story continues the story after the second movie. And yeah, but this is the Terminator one. This is done by John Arcudi. He's a great creator, and this is mostly 90s art, but it's deep dark sci-fi, and it's dark and bloody, and then it's got a lot of adult and mature themes, I guess. So but yeah, I'm curious to check this out. So again, this is out of print, not easily found. The one thing I will tell about this, the build quality of this book is these glued spines were not very great. So the ones which I bought like previously, like in last couple of years, most of them have like, worn out or torn down. So you got to read this pretty carefully, because again, the glue was not the best during that time. But I'm super glad I have this in my hand. So curious to check this out. And then yeah, this is a Deadman series. Deadman is one of my favorite DC characters. And then but I did buy it for Deadman, but also Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. He's one of these quintessential DC artists, and his art is like really fire. So this is like a 4-issue mini for Deadman, and you don't get a lot of Deadman these days. So whenever you get your hands on Deadman, you gotta have it. So so there's that. And last but not the least is this Star Trek Best of Star Trek book. So this is by Mike W. Barr and Peter David and Tom Sutton and Kurt Swan and Dan Jurgens. So some of these old school. This is from, of course, the original series, the TOS stuff, and this is like that's my favorite Star Trek. So if you amongst all of them, like Captain Kirk and his adventures are like really good. So the DC Star Trek is super out of print. You can't find it anywhere else. I don't think IDW is printing it in any collections. I might be wrong on that. But this Mike W. Barr stuff, like he did a lot of the Mirror Universe stuff too for Star Trek comics. And yeah, super glad to have this in my collection. So yeah, and that's about it. So yeah, so Comic Comps 2024, hopefully a success. So yeah, I'm curious to do this again and again. And it's how is it different than a Comic Con? It's different than a Comic Con because it's in a small venue, and then you get more time with the creators, and and there's lesser crowd, and getting in it doesn't cost a ticket or something, so it's pretty cheap. And most of these creators are nice enough to like give you free stuff. So I got loads of free stuff today. So yeah, if any Comic Comps occur in your area, I would definitely encourage you to check it out. But then for now, that's it. So, and thank you for watching this. Thanks. Have a good day, guys.